Hey Blink News fam, and welcome back. Are you ready for a dose of chills and goosebumps? Tonight, we're turning down the lights and diving headfirst into 12 real ghost stories that will send shivers down your spine. These aren't your typical campfire tales, folks. We're talking about genuine accounts of unexplained phenomena, creepy encounters, and downright spooky happenings. From haunted houses with phantom footsteps to eerie voices in the dead of night, these real-life stories are sure to raise the hairs on the back of your neck. Maybe you've even had your own unexplained experience. We'd love to hear about it in the comments below. So, whether you're a seasoned ghost hunter or a total skeptic, buckle up. We're about to embark on a chilling journey into the world of the unexplained. Prepare to be spooked as we explore these 12 real ghost stories that will send shivers down your spine. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video if you're feeling brave enough. Let's get started. 1. The Little Hands. The flickering streetlights cast an eerie glow on my mom's childhood street. Back then, whispers of strange happenings swirled around the neighborhood like autumn leaves. One house, just a few doors down from my mom's, had recently become shrouded in grief. Their teenage daughter, vibrant and full of life, had succumbed to a sudden aneurysm. My parents, young and in love, accompanied my uncle to the now empty house. My uncle, a caring soul, was checking on the family's pets. Mom, ever drawn to a melody, heard rumors of a grand piano and couldn't resist its call. My dad, on the other hand, was preoccupied with his veterinary studies. As my uncle and dad descended to the basement to tend to the lonely animals, Mom's fingers danced across the ivory keys. The melody filled the air, a bittersweet echo in the otherwise assailant house. But then, a strange sensation tickled her ankles. Dismissively, she thought a curious cat had escaped the basement. She continued playing, the melody flowing once more. Suddenly the feeling returned. A jolt of icy fear shot through her as a pair of hands clamped tightly around her legs from beneath the piano. Panic surged, and she bolted towards the basement door, her frantic calls echoing through the house. When my uncle and dad emerged, concern etched on their faces. They found her pale and trembling. Mom blurted out her encounter, the haunting memory of the disembodied touch sending shivers down her spine. To her surprise, my uncle's face drained of color. He revealed a chilling detail. The deceased daughter used to play a game with her father. She'd crawl under the piano, grab his ankles, and make him play the pedals with her tiny hands. The realization hung heavy in the air. A playful act transformed into a spectral touch, a final echo of a life tragically cut short. Leaving the house behind, a shroud of silence fell on them. The streetlights seemed to flicker with a new intensity, casting an unsettling glow on the path they walked away from. That day, the piano keys remained silent, its melody haunted by a little girl's playful spirit, forever intertwined with the memory of loss. 2. The Phantom Patient. The late-night shift loomed heavy on John's eyelids. Partnered with Sarah, they patrolled the quiet back roads in Rig 12, a creaky ambulance notorious for its spooky reputation among the crew at the company. John, a man of logic, scoffed at ghost stories, but tonight, a creeping unease settled in his gut. Around 3 a.m., an unsettling silence swallowed them whole. John drifted off, only to be jolted awake by a muffled voice. Groaning, he assumed Sarah was sleep-talking and mumbled a sleepy protest. But as his senses sharpened, the voice solidified, a distinctly male plea, heavy with fear. "Oh my God, am I dying?" Followed by raspy breaths. John shot upright, eyes wide. Sarah, mirroring his alarm, whipped around. Their gazes collided, unspoken questions hanging in the air. The voice had come from the back, the patient compartment. Heart pounding, he flipped on the overhead lights. Without a word, they bolted out the rig, adrenaline coursing through them. John scanned the deserted road, expecting a shadowy figure to dart away, but there was nothing. His gaze fell on the back doors. He flung them open, ready to confront an intruder. Empty. He checked the oxygen tanks, all secured, no hiss. Relief washed over him, tinged with a chilling fear of the unknown. Back in the rig, shadows seemed to dance in the corners. Sleep, that elusive friend, was chased away by the memory of the voice. John and Sarah huddled together, the silence now a heavy weight. That night, the haunted ambulance wasn't just a story anymore. It was a chilling encounter they wouldn't soon forget. 3. The Impish Ghost. Diane and I weren't afraid of the dark, not really. We had a bigger problem, a mischievous poltergeist we affectionately nicknamed Billy. It all started subtly. I'd come home to find everyday items misplaced. Milk chilling in the pantry instead of the fridge, toilet paper mysteriously relocated to the bathroom cabinet. It felt like a playful game, a constant rearrangement of the mundane. One afternoon, the milk went missing altogether. Diane called, her voice laced with panic. "Have you seen ours? Can Billy have borrowed it again?" We found the carton later, perched precariously on her back steps, as if left there by an invisible hand. Sugar became Billy's favorite target. Every morning my sugar bowl would be inexplicably empty, forcing me to borrow from Diane's stash, which inevitably would disappear next. Frustration eventually bubbled over. When Billy's antics got particularly out of hand, I'd point towards Diane's house and yell, "Go bother her for a while." It was a strange ritual, but within minutes, the phone would ring. "Thanks a bunch." Diane's voice would crackle through the receiver, resignation laced with amusement. "He's here now, hiding the TV remote." This playful poltergeist became a bizarre shared experience for 2 years. Our husbands dismissed it as a wives' tale, our families convinced it was petty theft or our overactive imaginations. But Diane and I knew the truth. We lived with, and somehow coexisted with, a mischievous entity who preferred rearranging furniture to outright malevolence. To this day, I can't explain the sugar-stealing ghost, the misplaced milk cartons, or the constant game of hide-and-seek with household items. Billy, whoever or whatever he was, remains a delightful and utterly inexplicable chapter in our lives. 4. The Eerie Attic. The air crackled with a tension that had nothing to do with the Melbourne winter. Diggs Dawes, a Reddit user with a penchant for the paranormal, wasn't about to launch into a ghost story prefaced with the tired, "I don't believe in ghosts," but we all secretly crave a good scare, a brush with the unseen. Diggs Dawes was about to deliver. Fresh out of the nest, Diggs Dawes had snagged a cozy one-bedroom apartment, a haven from the bustling city. The building, a relic from the 1930s, held a certain charm, but charm can quickly curdle into something unsettling. A few months in, a seemingly mundane task, a post-work bathroom visit, took a chilling turn. A wooden board, normally securing a dusty attic crawl space, lay fractured on the floor. It wasn't splintered, it was broken, like someone with superhuman strength had snapped it in two. A shiver ran down Diggs Dawes' spine. Was the landlord doing renovations? Fear, cold and sharp, gripped them. Someone, or something, was definitely up there. A frantic email to the landlord, complete with accusatory undertones, where was the heads up, yielded a chilling reply. "Please call me ASAP," it read. The landlord explained, with a tremor in her voice, that the past 2 tenants had reported the exact same occurrence. The board was replaced, but the unease lingered. One night, a jolt of icy dread woke Diggs Dawes at 4 a.m. Goosebumps erupted across their skin, the unmistakable feeling of unseen eyes watching. An eerie silence hung heavy in the air, shattered only by a dragging sound from directly above. It scraped like a sack of potatoes being hauled across the floorboards. Frozen in terror, Diggs Dawes could only imagine what lurked in the attic. Animals couldn't possibly sound so inhuman. After what felt like an eternity, the dragging stopped, replaced by a new terror, whispering, distinct, like children's voices, repeating a chilling phrase over and over, "It's your turn, it's your turn." Desperate to dispel the oppressive atmosphere, Diggs' Dawes flicked on every light in the apartment. The pre-dawn darkness outside pressed in. They tried watching TV, anything to drown out the chilling whispers, but fate intervened. A fuse blew, plunging them back into darkness. Dexter, the pet budgie, usually peaceful in his cage, erupted in a frenzy of terrified squawks. Instinctively, Diggs' Dawes grabbed their keys and fled into the night, the whispers seeming to follow them out the door. Morning light brought a fragile sense of normalcy. People walked their dogs, a reassuring sign of life. With a heart still pounding, Diggs' Dawes returned. The front door stood ajar, a detail that could be explained by a panicked exit. But the real horror awaited them inside the apartment. The kitchen cage was empty. Panic surged anew. Where was Dexter? All windows were locked tight. A sickening splash drew Diggs' Dawes to the bathroom. Dexter, half drowned in the toilet bowl. Relief washed over them as they rescued their feathered friend. Shaken and confused, Diggs' Dawes called the landlord, offering a watered-down version of the night's events. The landlord's response sent chills down their spine. "Oh, wow! You heard the whispering, too!" she exclaimed. Despite the terror, Diggs' Dawes stayed for another 18 months. The whispers returned, and the attic board mysteriously moved twice more. Now, settled in a new home, Diggs' Dawes received a call from the landlord. New tenants, desperate and afraid, begged to speak with Diggs' Dawes about the stuff happening in the apartment, but Diggs' Dawes had had their fill of the unseen. With a silent shrug, they left the unsettling legacy of the whispering attic to its new residents. 5. The Boy with No Eyes. The creak of the bedroom door jolted 10-year-old Kevin awake. A moment later, the weight of someone settling on the edge of his bed sent shivers down his spine. "Mom," he mumbled, squinting through the darkness. He forced his eyes open, expecting to see his mother's concerned face hovering above him. Instead, an icy dread washed over him. There, perched at the foot of the bed, was a boy about his age. But this wasn't any ordinary boy. Where A's should have been, there were only hollow sockets, black and bottomless. Terror battled with curiosity as the boy extended a hand holding a small box. Kevin hesitantly reached out, but the boy snatched it back. "Give it," Kevin blurted, emboldened by a surge of defiance. He blinked, and in that instant, the boy vanished. Yet the indent on the mattress remained, a chilling reminder of the encounter. 5 years passed. Kevin, now a teenager, had a girlfriend named Sarah over to study. After finishing her homework, Sarah settled on his bed for a nap, while she waited for her parents to pick her up. When they arrived, Kevin gently shook her awake. Sarah's eyes snapped open, immediately darting to the corner where the wall met the ceiling. Her finger pointed before she drifted back to sleep. Kevin, bewildered, tried again. This time, Sarah woke with a gasp, her face pale. "A little boy," she whispered, her voice trembling. "No eyes. He was there, like Spider-Man, just staring at me." A jolt of horror shot through Kevin. He sat Sarah down and recounted his own childhood experience with the eyeless boy. Sarah's eyes widened as she listened, the details matching her own encounter perfectly. Another 5 years flew by. Kevin and Sarah, now a young couple with a 2-year-old daughter named Lily, had moved back to Kevin's parents' house, his old room included. Night after night, Lily would wake at the same time, babbling to the unseen. One night, Kevin decided to humor his daughter. "Who are you talking to, sweetie?" he asked, his voice laced with a smile. "It's the little boy," Lisa chirped. "He's nice. He's lost, looking for his mommy." Lily's nightly conversations with the eyeless visitor continued until the family finally moved into their own place later that year. Did the eyeless boy find his way home? Or was he a restless spirit forever searching, leaving his mark on Kevin's life and the life of his daughter? The answer remains an unsettling mystery. 6. The Red Lady of Huntington College. The whispers started in 1910, a faint echo that still lingers in the halls of Huntington College, Montgomery, Alabama. It's a story passed down between students, a chilling reminder etched into the very fabric of the campus. It all began with a new arrival, a young woman with a peculiar fondness for the color red. Dressed in crimson most days, she stood out from the crowd, not just for her color choice, but for her quiet demeanor. Whispers followed her like a shadow. "Strange," they murmured. "A loner." As the semester progressed, the vibrant red seemed to lose its luster, mirroring the young woman's fading spirit. Isolation crept in, a suffocating cloak that eventually drove her to a desperate act. One day, she was found in her room, the crimson dress now a horrifying canvas of despair. News of the tragedy spread like wildfire, leaving a chilling mark on the college. But the story didn't end there. Students and faculty alike began reporting sightings. A woman in red, a fleeting glimpse in a hallway, a sorrowful figure flitting across the quad. The Lady in Red, they called her, a specter forever bound to the place where her spirit was broken. Her presence, a haunting reminder, a crimson echo whispering the importance of reaching out, of fostering kindness, lest another soul be lost in the abyss of isolation. The red dress, once a symbol of vibrancy, now serves as a chilling cautionary tale, forever woven into the fabric of Huntington College. 7. The Ashley Street Ghost. The year was 1972, and a party raged in a student house on Ashley Street, University of Michigan. Laughter and music filled the air, but amidst the revelry, a shiver ran down the spine of a young girl. A shiver that seemed to have nothing to do with the night air. It was a bone-chilling cold, an unnatural presence that settled deep in her bones. Seeking warmth, she climbed the stairs, a primal instinct taking over. But the warmth never came. Instead, the hairs on her neck stood on end as one of the walls seemed to pulsate, then shift. It morphed inwards, revealing a chilling, inky black shadow that lurched towards her. Panic clawed at her throat, a primal scream trapped behind her lips. Back downstairs, pandemonium reigned. Posters, seemingly animated by an unseen force, peeled themselves off the walls and rained down in a chaotic ballet. The terrified girl, her voice barely a whisper, spoke words that sent chills down the spines of the partygoers. "The drugs and addiction were my fault," she choked out. "But I wasn't like that deep down. I want to apologize." The students exchanged stunned glances. These were not words a 15-year-old at a college party would typically utter. The horrifying truth dawned on them. The house they called home held a dark secret. Before they moved in, a man with a crippling heroin addiction had resided here. His addiction claimed him, a fatal overdose that ended his life within these very walls. The girl's words, a chilling apology for a life consumed by drugs, resonated with the weight of a past life. Had the spirit of the addict returned, clinging to the place he called home even in death? Was this just the beginning of the Ashley Street haunting, a mystery that would forever stain the house with a chilling touch? The answer, like the shadows that danced on the walls, remained shrouded in the darkness. 8. The Ghost of Frederick Jordan. The icy wind howled a mournful song, whipping against the solitary figure of Frederick Jordan. He was the lighthouse keeper of Penfield Reef, a lonely outpost guarding the treacherous coast of Fairfield, Connecticut. Built in 1874, the lighthouse stood as a silent sentinel, warning ships away from the hidden reef that had claimed countless vessels. Jordan, a man of quiet strength, knew the importance of his duty. His days were a rhythm of climbing the iron steps, meticulously polishing the Fresnel lens, and ensuring the lamp cast its unwavering beam across the waves. Nights were spent battling the loneliness, the vast ocean stretching before him like an endless canvas of inky blackness. Tragedy struck in 1916. Just before Christmas, a fierce gale swept across the water. Jordan, eager to spend the holidays with his family, set off in a small boat for the mainland. The storm, however, had other plans. It swallowed him whole, leaving only the memory of a good man lost at sea. Ever since that fateful day, Penfield Reef Lighthouse has harbored a strange presence. Lights flicker inexplicably, foghorns wail on calm nights, and vital equipment inexplicably malfunctions. Keepers swear by the lighthouse logbook mysteriously opening to the very page Jordan penned on the day he vanished. But the most chilling tales come from local fishermen. On nights when fog shrouds the reef, they claim to see a figure appear on the water, a spectral light guiding lost vessels away from the hidden danger. Is it just a trick of the mist, or does Frederick Jordan, forever bound to his duty, still watch over the treacherous waters, a ghostly guardian forever tethered to his lonely post? The answer, like the fog itself, remains elusive, swirling in the whispers of the wind and the haunting echoes of the past. 9. The ghost who came to play. Marlene, still raw with grief a year after her husband Jack's passing, found solace in the familiar warmth of their golden retriever, Elmer. Every night, Elmer would defy his usual routine and curl up on Jack's side of the bed, a silent comfort in the vast emptiness. One moonless night, however, the comforting weight beside her was gone. Startled awake, Marlene heard the familiar click-clack of Elmer's nails descending the stairs. Assuming he needed to go out, she followed him, a sigh escaping her lips. But Elmer wasn't by the door, tail thumping against the wood. Instead, he was in a joyous frenzy, dancing, wagging his tail so hard his entire body wiggled, bowing repeatedly. It was the exact same ecstatic welcome he always gave Jack upon his return home. A shiver ran down Marlene's spine. It felt like Jack. It had to be, right? Christy Robinette, a renowned psychic medium, believes so too. Known for her uncanny ability to sense the unseen, Robinette interprets Elmer's strange behavior as a sign of Jack's presence. Whether a playful spirit, a comforting energy, or simply a vivid memory triggered by Elmer's routine, one thing was undeniable. Marlene wasn't truly alone. The house, once echoing with the silence of loss, now held a bittersweet echo of love, a love that transcended even death itself. 10. The Lost Colony of Roanoke. In the verdant tapestry of American history, a chilling mystery flickers like a dying candle flame. Roanoke Colony, a hopeful settlement nestled on an island off the coast of North Carolina, vanished without a trace in 1590. Founded under the watchful eye of Queen Elizabeth I, the colony was intended to be a beacon of English civilization in the New World. John White, the colony's leader, sailed back to England for a quick resupply mission. He planned to return within a year, leaving behind a community brimming with dreams of a new life. But fate, a cruel jester, had other plans. War with Spain entangled England, delaying White's return for an agonizing 3 years. When White finally reached Roanoke Island, his heart plummeted. The settlement was eerily deserted. Houses stood empty, belongings scattered as if a sudden gust of fear had swept through. The most unsettling absence? The 115 colonists, including Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America, had vanished like smoke. The only clue lay etched on a post, the word Croatoan, the name of a friendly local tribe. Hope flickered in White's chest. Perhaps the colonists had sought refuge with their native allies. But a search of Croatoan Island, now Hatteras, yielded nothing. The Roanoke colonists had simply disappeared. Whispers of violence arose, but no evidence of a massacre was ever found. Instead, a captivating legend bloomed. It spoke of Virginia Dare, the lost baby, transforming into a magnificent white deer. This spectral creature, forever seeking a lost love, a brave native warrior named Okisco, roamed the woods, vanishing at dawn's first light. To this day, the mystery of Roanoke Colony lingers. Were they assimilated by the local tribes? Did they succumb to disease or famine? Or is there a darker truth buried beneath the sands of time? The phantom white deer, a symbol of the lost colony, continues to haunt the imagination, a reminder of the fragility of hope and the enduring power of the unknown. 11. The Princes in the Tower. In the heart of London, shrouded in the shadows of the tower, lies a chilling tale of two young princes, Edward and Richard. Born into royalty, their destiny seemed bright. However, a twist of fate and a power-hungry relative cast a dark shadow over their lives. Their father, King Edward IV, breathed his last in 1483. Edward, the eldest son, was a mere 12 years old when the crown was placed upon his head. Too young to rule alone, a regent was appointed, his own uncle, the Duke of Gloucester. Whispers surrounded this uncle. Richard, as he was known, harbored a deep resentment towards the boys. They stood between him and the throne, the rightful heirs apparent. Then, the story takes a sinister turn. The whispers morphed into chilling reality. The young king and his brother vanished. Whispers turned to screams of outrage as it became clear they were imprisoned within the very walls of the Tower of London. Richard, the resentful uncle, ascended the throne, declaring himself King Richard III. The fate of the princes remains an unsolved mystery, a stain on the tapestry of British history. Were they murdered? Did they succumb to illness? No one knows for sure. The only trace ever found? Two tiny skeletons unearthed within the tower grounds, a haunting testament to their tragic story. But the tale doesn't end there. Legends whisper through the tower's corridors. Visitors claim to have seen spectral figures, two young boys, echoing with the innocence of a stolen future. Are these mere ghost stories, fueled by morbid curiosity? Or are they chilling echoes of a past injustice, a reminder of the princes who were robbed of their crown and their lives? The answer, like the fate of the princes themselves, remains shrouded in the shadows of the Tower of London. 12. The Ghost of the Hanged Man. In the crisp mountain air of Georgetown, Colorado, a story chills the bones of even the hardiest souls. It's not a tale of a vengeful spirit seeking earthly revenge, but a chilling reminder of the weight of unresolved anger. The year was 1877, and a darkness had fallen upon the town. Robert Schmale, a man accused of a string of brutal murders, stood trial. Found guilty, he met his end on a creaking gallows on October 13th. However, the townspeople's fury wasn't quelled by the hanging. They left Schmale's body dangling for days, a grim spectacle under the unforgiving mountain sun. Not a single tear was shed, no remorse offered. This lack of closure, some say, is what binds Schmale's restless spirit to the earthly plane. Witnesses claim to have seen him, a fleeting spectral figure flickering in the twilight. But just as quickly as he appears, he vanishes, a chilling reminder of the injustice that befell him. Unlike the vengeful phantoms of legend, Schmale's ghost offers no terrifying screams or blood-curdling moans. Instead, his very presence serves as a haunting whisper, a chilling testament to the consequences of unchecked rage, a reminder that true peace can only be found in letting go. The story of Robert Schmale isn't one of a vengeful spirit seeking retribution. It's a cautionary tale, a whisper in the mountain breeze urging forgiveness, lest the weight of anger bind us all to a restless eternity.